Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Alright guys, so this is the place that Katlyn Harp stayed with her husband. This was their home. And it sounded like a lot went on behind these closed doors. Stay tuned for more.
There's the house right there. There's the house. That's a lot of shit on it.
So right down here is 20 Fairview. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering the case of Katlyn Harp. We're learning right now that she was here at around 6:41. They had some type of altercation over dinner. They went out on the side-by-sides She was seen on a side-by-side, I think, on the back of this property. It's a pretty large acreage here. We're learning that Vinny told the family that she took off around 7 p.m. And around 9:25 was when the last ping of her phone was right here at this location. And then Vinny told law enforcement all communication between them ended between 9 and 11 p.m. on June 19th. Now, on June 20th, the next day, her sister, Heather Lane, reported her sister not responding to any of their communications and wanted to do a wellness check. Wellness check was done and a bolo was put out for Katlyn. There was a text message from Katlyn's phone to Vinny around 3:45 a.m. and many of the family does not believe that that message was in fact from Katlyn. Vinny left for work that morning. I don't know what time he got to work, but they said he left work at around 7 a.m. in his 2007 Yukon. We're hearing it was stuck on the mountain between 10 and 11 a.m. He arrived back to work at 1 p.m. muddy. So this is where kind of ground zero is related to Katlyn Harp's disappearance. So what we have behind me is the home, the large acreage that she shared with Vinny Harp and his children. It sounds like she also had a child with another man by the name of Wade. My understanding that lives near the mountain where he was stuck. So we're going to be heading over there, checking that out. But right now we're at 20 Fairview Drive, where I believe the altercation actually happened. But it is a pretty extensive property here.
Well, hello, my beautiful people. I'm going to wait to see if I'm coming in crystal clear, which I am not. So we're going to take the camera off and pray to God that we have some, at least you guys can hear me. I was worried about that, to say the least. If you guys can hear me good, please let me know. Thank you for letting me know that. That's good. You know, we've been here for, good. I'm glad. Okay. Well, you guys see this form that I put together, this timeline here for you guys. Let me just, since you guys can't see me anyways, might as well put it up on the big screen here so you guys can read it a little bit better. Hopefully it's coming in very, at least clear for you guys. So I wanted to go over this because, in my opinion, this is super important. Why is this super important? Because this tells us a lot of information. I've compiled, the timeline of information that we have available related to the cat. I've been calling her Katlyn Harp because I had a friend, Katlyn, Katlyn. We called her Kat. I assumed it was the same thing. Everybody's telling me her name's pronunciated Caitlin. It's going to be hard because, again, I'm so used to saying Katlyn that trying to say Caitlin is going to be very difficult for me. But we're talking about Katlyn Harp. Katlyn Harp is a 33-year-old mother, and she lost her life to domestic violence, at least what it appears to be domestic violence. Now, we're unsure if it truly is domestic violence for a variety of reasons. And most notably, one of the major reasons is because apparently she had no wounds on her body, making it difficult to determine cause of death. At least that's the way it was as of yesterday. Today, I have been out and about all day taking footage where they live and where the truck was stuck is a significant place away. Okay, we're going to get to that. I'll be dropping those videos. It's very rough terrain out there. Okay. Why would he be out there, and what did he leave out there? Many of you guys have probably already read about the probable cause affidavit or have heard somebody going over the probable cause affidavit. and there were drag marks out there. Now, I think this timeline, which the majority of this information is a collection from the stuff that we have been told by law enforcement, a collection of stuff that was in the probable cause affidavit, and some additional information from eyewitness account. So what I've learned through all this, and we'll go line by line over it so you guys have a clear understanding what took place in and around the time that Katlyn lost her life. But why was he out there? He was out there, in my opinion, to dump her body. I believe he went to work with her body in his truck. The information appears that that would be most likely the scenario. And here's why I say that. And this is the breaking news information, because many people don't know how the details of events took place. So on 6/19, and this is the day that this all happened, okay? They have, according to Vinny's statements to Heather Lane, which is her twin sister, he stated that they had an argument at dinner time related to some guy she was speaking on a social media app, allegedly. There was a trail camera coming from the backside of their property where it kind of adjoins, 3 different properties kind of adjoin together at the back location. I'm not familiar with it. I have not seen this area, the specific area that they're referring to, but that's how I'm understanding it. But at 6:41, somebody else's, one of the other adjoining properties, have a trail camera, and she was seen on that trail camera alive and riding. But according to Vinny's statements, I believe to Heather Lane, don't quote me on that exactly, maybe to another person, but I believe he stated she left around 7 p.m. 7 p.m. comes up at some point when she disappears. Now, around 9:25 is when her phone last pings at her home at where that intro video was just taken at 20 Fairview. And Vinny states that he has ceased, in all communication with her ceased between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Because again, remember, she ran off with a guy or friends because they were fighting about the guy she was communicating with. Don't forget that, because it's going to be important. So he states that she stops contacting him, but law enforcement state in the probable cause affidavit all communication for that day ceased at that point, and there is no more communication from her observed on any social media or telephone. Now, 6:20 is the next day, and I don't know the specific time that it was called in. I believe it's somewhere, but I just didn't locate the actual time. But Heather, her sister, called the local police for a wellness check. And they went out there and they decided to go ahead and put a bolo out for Katlyn, because I think they made contact with Vinny. Vinny said he hadn't seen her. She had taken off with some friends, so they thought things were a little sus. They just went out and put a bolo out for her. He also informs them that she had sent him a text message at 3:45 in the morning. And that 3:45 in the morning text, many of her friends and family state that doesn't sound like her at all. So we believe that that's a staged text message that Vinny must have done himself. I don't know what time Vinny goes to work or where he works or what kind of work he does. But I do know that based upon eyewitness statements at his job, he left his work at 7 a.m., okay? And this is why I believe he may have taken her to work with him. Or he could have put her at home and went and left work and picked her up and took her out to the mountain. But I do believe he took her out to the mountain in the Yukon in the morning. This was going to be ultimately the dump site for her. But the problem happened was around 10 to 11 a.m., his Yukon gets stuck out in the woods. So now he has to have somebody tow him out. Obviously, there was a picture taken of that because it's making its circulations around social media. And all of a sudden, he leaves at 7 a.m. and returns back to work at 1 p.m., completely covered in mud from being stuck in the mud out there in the woods, God knows how far away from his work. Then you fast forward to him getting off work now at 5:40, because he knows he was stuck. He had asked people for help. He knows people know he was out there in that area. And so he decides to go get a Silverado pickup truck. And he loads up a large box in the Colorado pickup truck. And that's observed heading back out to Shade Mountain when he drives past the VFW at 5:40. At 5:41, he is pulling into the Sunoco gas station in Danville in his Chevrolet with that box being observed, and he's going in there and asking for gloves. They didn't sell gloves, so he asked them, can he have some latex gloves from them? The person behind the counter gave him one pair of gloves because that's all he needed, and he drove back to Shade Mountain. Now, he was there from the last time he was observed in the probable cause affidavit before making it to Shade Mountain was at 5:41 p.m. However, they're stating that his phone data is putting him in the area of Shade Mountain at this scene at 6:20, some 40 minutes later. And he stays there from 6:20 to 6:50. So it took him 30 minutes to load her up. And then at 6:50, he's spotted on Main Street with the box still in the back of his truck at 6:50 on the next day, 6:25. So now we're fast forwarding. So that tells me he either took her body to work with him, or he left work and picked her up from his house. And he took her out there. And had not gotten stuck out there, that would have most likely been her ultimate place of rest until somebody stumbled across her, if ever. You guys should see it out there. It is nothing but woods. I'll be producing that video. Probably it's hard. I'm on a cheap internet, stuff. So it's always very, very difficult to edit videos on the road when we're in, backwoods. And this is not backwoods, but when you get back there where he was, where he's got his truck stuck, you don't have internet back there. My GPS screen went blank in some spots. Blank. The black screen of death. No pun intended. So they're saying that, so now we know that he was there in the morning, he got stuck, he had to go back to work, and then he's there at night with that box. So we know he was moving her body. We know that according to the probable cause affidavit, there was drag marks, and I kept saying I couldn't determine whether the drag marks were her or the box. But after realizing that he had the box going out there and coming from there, I don't think he ever moved the box after he put it on the Silverado. What he ended up doing is going out there, getting her and lifting her into the box, because there is no way he could move that heavy metal box by himself. So the only way that box would have been in his truck at 5:40 and out there and coming back on his way back, and this would have been his second time, then there's no way she was out there in that box. He brought the box out there to collect her and move her. So he moved her. So that's important. He moved her. So something happened at their house. He moved her to Shade Mountain. He got stuck in Shade Mountain, and he said, oh crap, I need to go back out to Shade Mountain and collect her. And that's how that happened. And he was at that point where he was out of options of where to put her, probably because of the time of day, the fact that he was probably nervous. He probably had adrenaline and endorphins just flooding his body. He was probably a very anxious individual, and I think I have heard reports that he was acting exactly like that. Now, he also was passing the site where he dumped her at the next morning at 10:30 and went back near that place at 6:08 p.m. So now where she was ultimately found, he was there on the 21st. So she disappeared on the 19th. He went to work on the 20th. He left work. He went out to Shade Mountain, got stuck, went back to work, and then moved her. And then the next day, he's out at that Harp property at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. And then he arrives back around in that area at 6:08 p.m. So on 6/22, they order the phone records for Katlyn. And on 6/23 at 12:03 a.m., they put Vinnie Harp in the hot seat at the Pennsylvania State Police barracks. On the 24th, he allegedly sold all of this stuff, and it was used in the commission of the crime. Obviously, they found some human dried blood, and I'm pretty sure that they have matched that at this point to Katlyn Harp. And then, of course, Heather Lane called the police on 6/29, 10 days later at 12:30, and reported that she believes that they had found her sister. So that's where we are in this case. And when I put it, I couldn't figure out how this all worked. And so the only way I can put it together was put it in that this sheet right here. And it gave me a clear idea of what transpired once I got everything cataloged properly. And so now we know what happened. An altercation. Now, I don't know if she truly, lost her life at, 7 o'clock at night. It could have been closer to that 3:45 timeline. They could have just been arguing. We know that his first wife succumbed to an OD that many people believe he was responsible for to collect the kids. And we have right now, I haven't checked and probably should, but actually I could probably do it now. Let me see if they got a cause of death for Katlyn Harp, cause of death. Let's see if we've got anything. It says the cause of death is elusive. So the cause of death for Columbia County woman found Sunday locked in a storage locker dumped in the woods remains unknown Monday following an autopsy, the coroner says. However, coroner Jeremy Reese said investigators are still awaiting the results of toxicology testing to try and pin down precisely how Katlyn Harp died. Harp, 33, was found dead Sunday in the woods of Harp Lane of Montour Township nearly 2 weeks after she was last seen alive. Her remains have been locked inside a military-type storage locker for more than a week, Reese said. Harp's husband, Vinnie Harp, 37, was arrested Sunday and charged with her murder. He remains locked up Monday in Columbia County Prison without bail. Reese said Dr. Christopher Sullivan, a forensic pathologist from Allentown, examined Katlyn Harp's remains Monday to try to figure out how she died. However, that remains unclear later Monday evening. Sullivan found no evidence that she had been shot or stabbed, and he noted noted no bones in her extremities were unbroken. He noted that were all unbroken, according to Reese. Harp's body was in a very advanced state of decomposition. Investigation into Harp's death remains ongoing. So, could this be something more? I really don't. Oh, military box. Yeah, it was a really funky looking box. I didn't see it posted publicly yet. I don't know if it has been. But yeah, it was a weird. It looked like, honestly, you know what it looked like? It looked like a homemade one that was welded, it looked old. It looked like, an old, like it wasn't his. He must have gotten it from a family member or salvaged it somewhere and was using it for something. I mean, if you look at his property is filled. Like they have the house. I don't know how this man, there are two people that, have some substance abuse issues. I don't know how he was affording that big, huge property and house. Like he was redoing the house. That was a new roof on that house. I had a new roof put on my house, and I know how expensive roof and roof materials are. So Betty, hey Frank, I hope you're doing well. So that's kind of where we are. I just don't know. Other than that, now I did go out to Shade Mountain, and I kind of didn't screw up, but I got sidetracked because I didn't have the photo downloaded. And when I get out there, you don't really have internet, so it's very hard to locate it without cell service or internet, and I didn't have it downloaded. So I could tell that there was one concentrated spot that had a lot of, let me see if I can find it. Give me just a second. Maybe I'll have it in here. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But there was a spot in the ground that I thought was the ruts, where they were dragging him out. And it kind of was. Let's see, I'll pull this up. Give it just a second. And it kind of was, but you see in front, there's all of that. That's where my red arrow is. That's where the truck was pulled out. I was paying attention to where somebody actually got stuck, and I think that was the forensic truck, because the forensic trucks are so heavy, and there was ruts there, and I couldn't compare the photo. But this is the thing, and he was standing where all the ruts were when they were dragging his stuff out. So you can't see the crooked tree in it because I've got the wrong angle to show you. But where you see that red arrow is where his truck went in about 200 feet in there and got stuck and needed to be chained out. So it's I don't know. I really do believe she was back there, is what I'm trying to say. I do believe she was back there. And I don't believe he buried her or anything like that. I do believe he was muddy because it was very, very, very muddy. It was muddy enough that he had to have his truck got stuck. But I believe he just tossed her out there. And so I'm hoping that I can get the cadaver dog back there to kind of support my theory that she was just tossed back there and he had to come back and pick her up because he got stuck. They did not have a clue that, he was disposing of someone when he got stuck. So I'm very interested to find out, obviously with the drag marks, it kind of confirms that she was just laying on top of the soil. We didn't hear of any, shallow, grave or anything associated with that. So that's how I've been able, after looking at the scene, been able to put all of this together. To see just kind of what fits and what doesn't. I still have a lot of work left here to do, but I'm going to try to get as much videos out to you guys as humanly possible, but I'm having some challenges, as always, with technology out on the road, and it's always such a problem for me. So hopefully, one day we'll be able to advance our stuff and maybe get like Skylink or Starlink or whatever the heck it is, and just kind of carry internet with us wherever we go and never have a problem like this again. At some point we will get there, but we're still kind of doing it the old way, and it kind of sucks a little bit. But hopefully you guys get to see some. Let me see if I got any other photos I wanted to show you. Oh man, there's some stuff like they have back on Shade Mountain. They have like the scenic overlook. That's really, really pretty. Let me see if I can, hold on. I've got some photos that I wanted to show you guys. Hold on. Let me just put my photos. I marked them all down. Let me see here. Let's see. Photos, images. Cases. Let me go to hers. So get down here. Those are all the ones on the phone. I had 49. 50. Can I do two? Nope, only let me do one. All right, well then I'm going to do the ones that have got the scenic look. Hold on, where is it? 74. Maybe I took them with my phone and they're not on here. But look how cool this is. This is, oh, I do have them. I do have them. Hold on. Let me open this one and this one. I can open one at a time. So we'll open this one first. Give me a second. It's thinking. It takes a little bit. It's telling me it's having an issue. Let me see if I can try to remove one of the photos. It's saying it's having an issue uploading. So let me remove this one from the studio. Maybe if I do that, maybe it won't have a problem. Image file. See if we can get it open. It's just not wanting to open. Let me try one. I want to show you these photos. Dad, burn it. That's upsetting for me. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can go a different way. I'll pull them up on the previewer and share the screen. That's what I'll do. I'll put them up on the previewer and share the screen. Get to the photos. There's just this beautiful overlook, and I would feel awful if you guys didn't get a chance to see it. And we'll do this one. Open in previewer. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's not it. Hold on, I had one more. Let me try this one more time. I'll get it, guys. I promise you I will get it. Oh, there it is. It's beautiful. Where's 90 and 95? 90 and 95. There we go. Open with previewer. Here it is. I got it right this time. Now let me share the screen. This is why I wanted to go through StreamYard, even though you guys can't see my face. I wouldn't have this problem if I just ran through YouTube, straight YouTube. It would have been a little more user-friendly. Isn't that pretty? That's over the shade scenic overlook right there. The Shade Mountain scenic overlook. And it took me a while to get there because I drove slow because I was trying to find tire tracks and stuff like that. So that is super pretty. Let's see if I can get it down. You got this one. That was kind of closer to the end, but you see this is out there. There's nothing that this is in Shade Mountain, and this was the open area because I wanted to get a pretty mountain view. This is the open area out here. And it's not like this where he was. It was very dense, very dense. He had a purpose of going back there. And then as I was coming back, look how cute and quaint this little town is. And this is right on the outskirts of the Shade Mountain area. And it's just so, just really like almost stepping back into time a little bit. It's really picturesque here. I mean, I've never really been I've never covered a case in Pennsylvania. I've never been here. But it is beautiful. I was driving around, and I've got some footage of it. This lake that just had these gorgeous mountains cut into it, and you drive over this lake and kind of in the chisels of the mountain. It was just gorgeous. It's just absolutely, utterly gorgeous. And this, I literally pulled over. I passed through this, and I'm like, man, this is really cute. So as you can see, I'm down the road a little bit and got my zoom camera on, or my zoom lens on, and it was just a cute little area that I got the camera out and decided to shoot this. It doesn't really have anything to do with the case other than it's a place I passed through going from point A to point B. This is I'm in the Bloomsburg area, but where the Shade Mountain is another area, because it's like an hour and something away. And then getting to the spot where he was almost like another 30-minute drive in on Shade Mountain, because you can't drive really quickly. Well, I guess he could. He was in a Silverado and a Yukon, which are bigger vehicles. They would have the capability of mudding, You covered one in Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did come here. I forgot about that. And I remember seeing mountains. That's right. Yes, we did. We covered 2 in Pennsylvania. We covered the girl that did the mass violence at that school. And then we did, no, she didn't. No. She ended up unaliving herself and her parents. It was really a crazy story. And it was just happened to be a crazy case that happened while we were here covering the Brian Koberger case, because we went out to where his parents live in Pennsylvania to see if we could kind of get a picture of their house, but they're behind this gated place. And so where are we, Betty? We are in Pennsylvania, and I just thought that was a cute little quaint place. But this was really gorgeous. That overlook, it just kind of embodies everything that's out here. Nothing, right? There's a whole lot of land, a whole lot of trees, a whole lot of shrubbery, and he's an hour and something away from his home and getting stuck in the backwoods. I would have been right. I would have been absolutely spot on had he not come back and collected her and moved her, because I thought she would be within 2 miles of that truck. And I actually think it would have been a lot less than that, in all fairness. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. I didn't want to take too much of your time. I'm sorry I can't stay on here too long. I've got a lot of work to do here. I still have to plan tomorrow. Today I didn't get rained. Well, I kind of got rained out, but I didn't get rained out, because I'm doing the work in such a way. Today I covered his morning. I don't know where he was for work, so I had to go from his house to the location out there on Shade. But he also went back in the afternoon, and that's the afternoon where, oh, wow, Raymond, thank you. God bless you. God bless you, my love. We'll be covering the evening. So this was kind of, I did his drive the morning of and got to the place where he got stuck. And so tomorrow is going to basically be his evening, going back out there, collecting her. There were several places that his vehicle was seen going out there, and there were several places of his vehicle being seen coming back. So we're going to be stopping by those places and just getting that content. So when we stream all this together, we get a full view of his exact comings and goings at the time all these things were happening, and Katlyn lost her life. So just trying to put this together in the most orderly fashion as possible, and trying to get you guys the most stuff. But here's where I kind of made my mistake when I was out there today, and I didn't realize it until I was here. One, I have to I have to remember to download photos. That's first and foremost. Let me see if I can get a further away spot. God, I took a far away view of it. I guess I didn't. I guess I did. I guess it would be that one. It's not allowing me to put, maybe because my photo size might be too big, or I might be having some other issues on here, but it's not letting me put up the photos, but I will. And I'll show you guys where, because I focused on the ruts in the ground as opposed to looking at the photo of where they pulled him out of. And it looked like right where I parked is exactly where the his car was getting pulled out, so I was too close to it. I needed to be further down, further back, and take the shot, because where the ruts were in the dirt was actually where he was standing as they were pulling his truck out. So I've got to go back there, and the good news is I'm doing his evening, so I'm going to be back there in the shade area, the shade mountain area, tomorrow anyways, to get his rotation, his route for the evening, where he was. I would assume he's coming from his home. I've been by his home. You see all that stuff just littered all on the side of his house. I'm almost confident that that box came from some of that stuff over there on his property, being stored on his property. So we'll see. We're hearing that he's got some people that are being very nasty to other people. I haven't had any problems while I've been here, but I think kind of like, maybe keyboard worrying, like it sounds like there's been some of his friends, feuding with some of Caitlin's friends. So I don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully everything kind of settles down. And I don't think that they're going to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy in this. But I do believe he made a call after whatever happened. I'm unsure if it was to his father. I'm unsure if it was to his brother. I'm unsure if it was to his best friend. I'm unsure if it was to, maybe a motorcycle buddy, a drug buddy, or what. But I do believe he made a call. I do believe he called somebody. It goes in with the oh shit factor theory. And if you guys have been following me for any significant amount of time, the oh shit factor theory is basically it's basically a theory related to ragers, people that rage and do things, and sometimes when they rage they lash out and somebody winds up deceased and they're like, oh shit, what have I done? It's the oh shit factor, and they have a lot of adrenaline, a lot of endorphins, a lot of anxiety. It's all rushing through their body because they are terrified. They cannot believe what they have just done. And so they're scared, and they're going to most likely call somebody. They'll be very, very weird. They're just weird, because they're flooded with adrenaline and endorphins. And so they are just, it's hard for them to think clearly. So they're calling somebody. So I truly believe that that's a case. So I think we're going to find out he called somebody, because I'm trying to figure out what his relationship is to Shade Mountain. And why do I say his relationship to Shade Mountain? This is a perfect example of people working within their comfort zones. When somebody unalives somebody or murders somebody or does terrible things, they're going or is going to do a terrible thing, maybe kidnap somebody and, take them. They're going to take them to a place they feel comfortable. They're going to take them to a place that they have frequented before, that they're comfortable and know about. Or the person that's directing them would be comfortable and know that area. So we have a situation where I don't see where he is a person that hung out in the recent future of, or the recent history in Shade Mountain. So does he have a childhood connection to this area? Is this a place where him and his, it was No, Denise, not where she was found. I'm talking about Shade Mountain. This is where his truck got stuck. This is dump site number 1. That his property that burnt down, that was dump site number 2. So what was he wouldn't, how would he know about Shade Mountain, that particular spot? There was something about that spot. He has had to have been there before, or somebody helping him has been there before. So I truly believe there's a connection, because that was site number 1. And if you're dumping a body in a site, then you are going to, it's going to be someplace, you're not going to go to a place for the first time to do that. What if you get caught? You're going to go to someplace is secluded. We've talked about this many times, and why I always ask, familiar areas, like with Sebastian Rogers. I truly believe it was Christopher Proudfoot that took care of the issue. So wherever Sebastian is going to be places that Christopher Proudfoot has been to before. That's how I look at it. So, yeah, is he one of them? Dominique, it is. Yeah, there's a lot. Nah, see, that's the problem. He had his first wife unalived by an OD at 33, the same age. And the law enforcement thought he was responsible, but could not make the case. Now you've got this one where he's actually trying to hide her. It's going to be a little more, it's going to be a little tougher. I realize she doesn't have anything obvious to the naked eye, or even to a pathologist at the moment, without the toxicology. But to me, it sounds like she was either asphyxiated, or I would think she was asphyxiated, to be honest with you. That's what I really, because that just goes with his traits. He seems like he would be one that would put his hands around somebody's neck, but that would also explain it. But we could have an OD in this one too, but that would support the first wife's homicide as well, if they can make this one. But either way you look at it, he's responsible in some capacity, definitely moving her. So the abuse of corpse, he will most likely be convicted of, depending on what evidence and information that they have for his for the homicide charge. That could be, they may charge that as an open homicide. They may charge that as a first degree, second degree. I know what his docket says, but there could be some changes depending on evidence. But it looks to me that he and her got into a massive fight. Something happened. She lost her life. He panicked. He took her and disposed of her, because it's another woman dead on his hands. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't look good. Many people, barely have one wife that has widowed them, but 2 at his young age. What is he, 38, 39? He's twice widowed? That's insane. That's insane. Anyways, that's what we've got so far, guys. I want to thank you guys for coming here and checking this out. I'm going to be back here. Oh, yes, I know we got people that want to see me. If you want to see me, I need you guys to do this while I'm in Pennsylvania, and I know it's 6:30, and this is going to cut off the time. I'm cutting it off at 9 p.m. tonight, because first thing in the morning, I've got to tell you guys where. I'd like to do it tonight if I can do it. So at 9 o'clock tonight, the cutoff is, I just need to find out how many of you guys are wanting to come see me at this point. I know I've got at least one person. So Mel, I might come out and see you if you're the only one. Otherwise, I might have to meet you somewhere in the middle. but I'm trying to find a place that we could meet, say Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, so I can get on the road because I'm heading back to Florida. If you guys are in PA and you'd like to meet, this is what I need you to do. I need you to tell me where you are in PA. Because if I have 4 people and I can find something that's in between 4 people, then and you guys can ride out and see me, then that'll be cool. But if I only have like 1 or 2 people and there's, you guys aren't too far from each other, I could just come out and see you and you won't have to worry about, meeting me somewhere or whatever. So please email me, let me know what you guys want to do, and I will try to accommodate whatever you guys would like to do. So that's kind of it. I'm sorry. I'm very, very exhausted. It's been a pretty long day. I'm going to try to turn I know I don't look good on this because I have horrible internet, but I do want to say there I am, all pixelated for you, There I am. Can't move. Just a hot mess express of pixelation. Pixelation. I just wanted you guys to see I'm real out here, and I love you, and I'm alive. I'm struggling, but I'm here. So I do appreciate you guys swinging by and supporting the channel. When we get back, we're going to be working on the Sebastian Rogers case. I have not looked at the Decker case. I just assumed with the lack of information that law enforcement believes Decker is dead, and I would definitely go back to Rock Island Campground if you are in the Washington state and you are a true crime junkie. Well, there you go. I just gave you your first case, the Travis Decker case. Go to Rock Island Campground, and I will tell you, it doesn't matter. Just start at the culvert and walk. Somewhere within that area, he is lying out there somewhere. So if we can just find him, that would be great. It doesn't sound like he has anything on him. But at this point, I would expect some clothes to be, articles of clothing to kind of be shredded and stuff that looks like maybe of what he might wear. So if you're out there and you're a hiker and you want to be a searcher and this is your first case, start walking that Rock Island Campground. He's out there somewhere, I really, really, really believe. And just like here, up here at that Shade Mountain, I will tell you, if he wasn't stuck in that truck, I don't know if I would have ever attached Shade Mountain to Vinny. And we need to look at these. These are details that we need to understand, because it's not about the details that are known to us. It's all these unknown details that we learn from case to case, and we need to, point those oddities out, because it could help us in another case. This guy was outside the 20-mile radius that I would have most likely attached to this case. He was over 43 miles away from his home, ground zero, which is very uncommon. I think the only other one that was further than that I personally worked on was Cassie Carley from Destin, Florida. She was, doing a custody exchange with the child and her ex, and she was meeting at a restaurant area. He changed the location at the last minute. She went there, and she was never seen again. He ended up taking her all the way to Alabama. So that was the furthest that I've had one of my victims travel in cases that I've covered personally. That was the furthest. So it's very uncommon to have that, that distance. So 43 miles. Could it just be a calculation? Am I underestimating, am I not taking things into consideration like mountains? This is a rural area, so we would have, a larger span, a larger radius for rural areas. But I don't know if I would have ever went out 43 miles on any case unless it was in the frickin' plains of Utah. So I don't know, but I definitely think it's interesting because it allows me to expand my boundaries and my comfort level when we get into cases. So one of these cases that do have an outlier and say the person, they do assess a 20 mile radius, then we'll know that if we can't find them in that 20 miles, we should go probably add another 20 miles onto that. Interesting. You know who else I think took somebody far, far away is Sebastian. I think he's one. I think Chris had the nuts to do that. He's outside of this search radius. If we can figure out where, we'll find him. But he's outside of the search radius. So, all right, guys, I love and miss you. I wish I had better internet. Thank you guys for coming over here and supporting the channel. Don't forget to get this out. Get the information I'm telling you guys out on those things, even if you can't share this because there's nothing really to see on here. But because I have no internet to show you guys anything. One day, guys, one day we'll pray on it. You know, one day we'll be able to afford the service of Starlink. So we'll just keep praying. We'll just keep giving it to God. You know, we've been doing great. I got to tell you, this was a pretty stinking good. I got a lot of stuff. My body camera's working fantastic. You know, everything. So I've been able to record, and you know me, I download this body cam footage daily and store it. So we never use the body cam in our videos or anything like that. That's just for if there's ever anything up in the future where we need body cam footage, it's in the file somewhere, you know, it's in the file somewhere. So, all right, guys, I love you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound to cure. Until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And we'll see you guys soon. I'm hoping, now there's one thing I can tell you, we're not going to be able to go up Shade Mountain with you guys live. Okay. We're just not going to be able to do it. I can probably take you to the beginning of it, but there's no way you're going to get back there where he got stuck. It goes black out there. You know, I could just drive straight. I could turn around and go back the other way if I wanted to, but I wanted to see what was up ahead. I wanted to make sure I drove the whole 15 miles to make sure I didn't miss the spot. So I drove the whole entire 15 miles. It took me almost an hour and a half to get through everything. I know you're probably thinking 15 miles, an hour and a half. Well, I was out at the area for at least 45 minutes filming and taking photos because I wanted to make sure I thought that was the place. I wanted to have the tread marks, but come to find out after looking at the photo, I spent way too much time on something that was absolutely insignificant. Gotta love that. Love nothing more than having no time to waste and wasting a crap ton of time. So that's kind of where we are. But this has been a great trip. I'm glad she's found y'all. You know, I'm truly thankful that her family has answers. A lot of our families don't get that closure, don't get that, you know, that answer. Katlyn is one of the ones that gets to come home, you know, that gets to rest in peace. But there are many that do not. So that's what we're here to do. I would love nothing more than to tell her story, you know, not this awful story of her death. You know me, I feel like sometimes the victim gets robbed a second time, like the perpetrator took their life, and I feel like robbed them of their life. And then I feel like the perpetrator robs them of their story too, because everybody's talking about the perp and what they did and the crime. And I feel like the person, who they were, is silenced out and starts going gray because nobody takes the time to learn about the victim. And I love nothing more than to learn about Katlyn. I know she's had struggles, and at the end of the day, we all have, right? Some of our struggles aren't as bad as other people's struggles. You know, some of our struggles are self-inflicted struggles. But at the end of the day, no matter what we go through or what our path is, we don't deserve somebody else taking our path away from us. And this man took her path away. While it wasn't perfect, you know what? My life wasn't perfect either when I was 20-something years old. It was rocky even in my 30s. You know? It took a lot of work to get where I am today. A lot. And she may have had to walk the walk she needed to walk so she could be who she needed to be at 45 or 46 to other people. And he took that from her. He stole that from her. He stole that from her family. He stole that from her kid. I know she has one child. I don't know if she has more, but I know at least one. And to me, that's incredibly sad, because no child should have to grow up without their mother, of all people. No one. Everybody struggles in life. Like I said, some people's struggles are different than others. Anyways, guys, that's what I have to say. So God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for being here and supporting me. So we'll see you sometime tomorrow. I'll try to go live early in the morning. I find that I have a little bit better reception in the morning after everybody clears out of here. But it seems like it gets really rough in the evening. So we'll go live in the morning before I leave for the morning. And then I'll be down until probably tomorrow night. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here because I'm hoping that everybody writes me before 9 so I can find out which direction I'm going, and maybe I'll stay a little closer to where everybody else is at tomorrow night. So I'll wait for those emails. Make sure you say meet and greet in the subject line. I know, Melanie, I'm going to definitely meet with you. I'm just trying to find out if you'll have a special me all to you, or if you're going to have to share me. So that's what I'm basically trying to determine right now. But I definitely know. So you are the one that I'm trying to figure out if I'll come to you or whatnot. So once I get everybody and find out where everybody's at, then we'll figure it out from there. So don't forget, email me, put in there meet and greet, and once I get 9 o'clock's the deadline. If it's after 9 o'clock, if you want to see me, you're going to have to come out to me wherever I'm at. So, all right, guys, I'll see you soon. Let me give you guys a little outro video. At least those outro videos weren't too bad.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.